Is it time?
Hi, everyone. This is Lucille of The Squeeze and Lori over in the blue. The Squeeze with Lori and Lucille. And today we are talking to three business owners from different parts of the country who are dealing, with the COVID-19 economy, and they're going to share their stories as to, how they're dealing with it. We're really happy to have you join us, and for anybody who has questions, you can put it in the comments, and we'll try to answer it. I would like to introduce Maria Piedra of the Butterfly Tree. And that's a retail store in Medfield, Massachusetts, in the suburbs of Boston. And Lori, you're going to introduce our other guests.
Right. So I'm Lori, and the other half of Lucille and Lori, and I will introduce Claudia McMullin. Claudia, I met through 10,000 Small Businesses, and she is a coffee roaster for Hugo Coffee Roasters. She also has a coffee house in Park City, Utah. Mm-hmm. And then we also have Armen Alajian, who is with Arto Brick. And he has been in business since 1966 and working out of Gardena, California. So we have businesses from all over the nation, and they're all going to share their response, their feelings, and how all this is panning out with the COVID-19 issue, because I think it could help all of our listeners pivot or decide what they may need to do to help them move forward through this. So welcome, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah. We're happy to be here.
So Claudia, let's start with you. Can you just let us know a little bit about your businesses and when you were started, where you're located, and maybe a little intro for our followers.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Claudia McMullin of Hugo Coffee Roasters. We are a small batch coffee roasting company located in Park City, Utah, that has a mission of saving animals by roasting fantastic fair trade organic coffee for our customers. In a former life, I ran an animal rescue, and that is my dog Hugo on that bag that we're holding up. Thank you, Lori, for ordering the coffee. And in addition to, I've owned this coffee roasting company. I started it in 2015. And prior to that, I had bought a coffee shop that's located in the Visitor Information Center in Park City, Utah. So it's a kiosk inside of a Visitor Information Center. So I bought that in 2013 because I really didn't want to be a lawyer anymore.
Oh.
So that was my way out. I tried many things to not be a lawyer. And
So you're fairly new, Claudia. Your business is fairly new.
Yes. Yeah. This was going to be my hockey stick growth year. This was going to be. Turned out to be it's going to be like year one.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to address that, right?
Right.
Yeah. And Maria, you want to go next?
Sure. So I'm Maria Piedra, and I have a brick and mortar shop in Medfield, Massachusetts called the Butterfly Tree Boutique. And let's see, I started the business in 2011 after a battle with breast cancer. I needed to make a change. I was working as a realtor before I opened the Butterfly Tree, and recently I've gotten back into the real estate, and so with my business, I've been feeling the squeeze from online shopping and big box, like Amazon type of online. So that's a little bit about my business. So I've already started to try to make a pivot. So a little bit about me.
How about you, Armen? Let's hear about you.
We're a manufacturer of tile in Southern California, second generation. My middle name is Arto, and so is my brother's. It's the founder's name, our father. We're approximately 75 people today, hoping to keep 75 employed. And I will steal the squeeze before today. I'll steal a quote from Mr. Jim Collins. It's productive paranoia. So I practice it often, and right now I'm very paranoid, and I'm trying to be productive. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, and wait, I have a prop for him too. So my coffee mug is on some tile.
Nice.
This is hand painted tile from his business.
And
I'm
wearing earrings from Maria's What My Treat. Okay, Lori.
Which illustrates the point, I think, that both Lucille and I are both small businesses. The three people who we have on today are small businesses. And it's just crushing to hear what's happening as, this has unfolded and how everybody had to close. And what's interesting is how everybody has decided to handle it. Let's start with Claudia, and we can talk about, how has this affected your business? Because I know that Claudia decided to close her coffee shop. So you can address that. Armen, I know, is an essential business. He's considered an essential business, but that wasn't super clear in the beginning, which I think everyone had a problem with. Like, am I essential? Am I not essential? Do I fall into this category? Do I not? Am I on the borderline where I could stay open?
And there's two questions, legal and moral as well.
Yeah, there we go.
That's right.
And then Maria decided to close because she is not, I guess shopping is not essential. I would like to just say for sure that coffee is essential in this house. So that's my opinion. I am entitled to my own opinion.
I agree.
Start.
I agree 100%.
So tell us, Claudia, how has it affected you in your business?
Okay, so my coffee shop closed on March 15th. It was closed. I decided to close on March 14th, and I did a big sale of all my baked goods and all of my prepared foods for Sunday to close by 5 o'clock. Then on Sunday, it just turns out that the Summit County Health Department issued an order that restaurants close. So I was ahead of the curve by about a day, but I closed. My staff at my coffee shop was not comfortable doing the curbside service. I didn't think, so that determined for me whether I was going to do that. The answer is no. So I'm just straight up closed. And I'm looking for the coffee shop, I'm looking for PPP help for when we open to get everybody back up and running and to start paying my employees again. In the meantime, I've had them, if they wanted to, I've asked them to file for unemployment, and I'm helping them in that regard. With my roasting company, it was a little bit different in that I took the position, and I still take the position, that I am essential. And we are still roasting, but it is just me and my roaster, John. That's it. Everybody else, the baggers, the delivery people, they all chose not to come back to work. I would have kept them employed had they wanted to, but they're not comfortable until the order is expired. And right now, those orders are set to expire May 1st, but we just heard yesterday on the radio that the order is likely to be extended, and that we're probably actually not looking at opening until June 1st. So that impacts my roasting company, because 95% of my roasting company's business was wholesale accounts, hotels, restaurants, resorts, cafes, breakfast places, dinners. So what it made me do was I immediately, and this had been my business plan, kind of like what you were saying earlier, is that I had a business plan this year to grow my direct-to-consumer business into more of a percentage of my business in order to even out cash flow. Because the one thing about wholesale is that it goes like this, and then I always have 4 months a year where I'm super strapped for cash, and then some months where I'm fine. Well, I wanted to even it out. It's also, by the way, where I give back to animal rescues. When you buy those cute bags with the dog, those bright bags with the dog face on them, that's when I give back to animal rescue. So I want to grow that part of the business. So this just made me do it faster. So I hired a marketing person, in-house marketing person for the first time. I'm redoing my website. I'm SEOing my Shopify. And I have myself started a personal delivery business where I will deliver to you. If you are in the area and you order coffee online, I deliver to you and you get a nice sticker, a pretty bag with paw print tissue paper, and a mask with Hugo's face on it.
Nice.
That's terrific.
So that's my pivot in my roasting company.
Okay, that's great. It's you know, it's crazy. And the next thing we're going to ask you is how you adapted. But first, we'll go over to which you shared some of that, and you know, the creativity. I think that's the part here that is so amazing, is the creativity that the small business and, you know, owners have had to exhibit and really dig deep to find. Maria, do you want to go next? Just tell us how it's affected your business.
Sure. So I want to say it was maybe March 13th. I started to feel really uncomfortable having customers come into the store. So I decided to close to the public. I was offering, you know, I have a small website, but I was offering people to call the store, to FaceTime with me, and I would either offer free delivery or curbless, a contactless curbside pickup. So I've been promoting that. My sales plummeted, like, you know, I'm closed, so I have no income, and this is the sole source of income for my family. I have part-time employees, and I can't allow any employees to come into the store, and some of them didn't feel comfortable prior to us being required to shut down. So, you know, I've been reaching out to my customer base through social media and through email, trying to, you know, generate some sales. It's not been super effective. I've gotten very little, you know, traction as far as that goes. I had been, as I mentioned before, feeling the squeeze. Our sales have been declining over the past couple of years, and I've been pivoting into trying to grow more online, and I had plans to open part of my shop to more, you know, event-based retail and marketing, and that, you know, that sort of been put on hold. And for like a retail shop like mine, it's, you know, there's a reason why they call it Black Friday, because you struggle, you know, for most of the year until Black Friday. So I decided to go back into real estate, because real estate is busy on my slow months, and I was just sort of getting ready to launch myself back into real estate this spring market, which has also been incredibly impacted. So the real estate market is really being affected as well. It's considered an essential service now, but people don't want to have people come into their homes that could potentially have COVID-19, and vice versa. So that's the, you know, the pivot that I've made, is to, you know, reach out, use social media. And I did read something on one of a website that 70% of independent retailers like mine don't have enough cash flow to handle this kind of a crisis for more than like 2 months. So I'm super concerned. I've had, you know, and especially where I don't have any other source of income, there have been tears. There have been, you know, days of frustration, especially trying to the PP loan, trying to get that. So I am I'm just, you know, trying to look for little things to keep me going.
Right. I think, Claudia, you gave us some statistics yesterday about how long small businesses can make it.
Yeah, I heard on NPR that small businesses, 30% of small businesses won't survive 30 days without help, and 50% won't survive 90 days without help.
Yeah.
This shows you how important help, this PPP program, any of these options that we have, we should just, they're critically important for our survival.
Correct. So Armen, let's hear from you. And I know that you've applied for all the help that you can get. Is that true?
We applied for the disaster loan 2 weeks ago and got a number waiting in line. We're with Wells Fargo, which is our only bank, and Wells Fargo is in the doghouse. No offense.
They are in the doghouse.
So they were capped originally at what they could do. So they just recently changed. They asked the Fed to unlock their ability to loan to larger companies because we're over 50 people. And so literally I logged in personally to my Wells Fargo account and it said, apply for the PPP. So aside from that, our actual bank, I have a network of, I guess, mentors, and in this place, kind of Gary Polk from a local incubator who I hung out with for a little bit. He was an ex-banker and is a teacher now, and he gave us a bunch of leads. One was a bank that was taking PPP loans if you'd never banked with them before, and it's a real bank. It's not like the guy out of your Chevy, but it's a real bank, so it's exciting. So we're going to try 2 different ways to get the PPP. But I told the team, let's go for it, but don't plan on it. To plan on eating rice and beans, just so you're not surprised when you don't get it. Part of my paranoia. Sure. Don't plan like you're going to get it. If you get it, great. And if you get it, bring back your people. That's the point of it. I mean, we have to bring back our people with the PPP loan, or else it's I can only buy so many boats. So
right.
That was a joke. I don't have any boats, but the PPP loans for all 3 of us to bring back our employees, even when there's no money coming in. That's the point. If us small people hold on too tight to the money that we get from these loans, then we're as bad as the big boys we complain about. That they just take money from the government and don't use it. But we 3 need to gamble with the money that they give us to hire our people back. And hopefully, when you give them their paycheck back, they spend it across the street. And it's a cycle again.
Armen, since you're essential, I know that you have people working. Did you have to lay off?
We have no office workers. Take it back. We had about 15 in the office, and I think we have 3 left, or 4 at most. That's the office. That's taking phone calls and orders, and they're working remotely. I was on my team in January. I'm a paranoid guy, so January they didn't believe me that I was chicken's little. By February they heard me. Beginning of March they started working on this. We have everything there, just never really used it. So we got everything ready by March 17th or 15th, and when they shut us down on the 19th or 20th, we were ready. So that was exciting. Being a little bit paranoid works. The factory, if you come here during in the old days, the old normal, we have a family lunch and meaning that the entire place stops and we eat together. That had to change because we can't eat together. So now we're staggering our breaks. At first, the men didn't get it, but then we're really involving them in men and ladies didn't get it, making a point of them knowing what it is and why it's important. And they get it because in their communities, in our communities, we know that I think in California, 1 in 10 people are been unemployed. I mean, the last 2 weeks. So that means we all know somebody not working, not getting paid, at least from business. Is that the question? Did I answer it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we're seeing, I mean, Marie and I think, I don't know if I already said this, but we're part of the local Chamber of Commerce, and it is just devastating to see how, I mean, all of our friends are suffering. I mean, they have no income.
Right.
And it is very painful.
Lucille and Maria, in your location, are they forgiving deferments on your mortgages and your rent? Because in California, okay.
Are
Well,
or deferring?
go ahead, Maria.
There is a deferment for mortgage. You have to catch up. Rent, no.
Oh,
I don't have rent.
Are they in California, in LA at least, LA County? They're not allowing you to evict anybody, commercial and residential.
That's happening in Salt Lake too.
Yeah.
I
So,
think that's the same in Massachusetts.
Well, I guess where I rent is I rent from another small business. He is maybe more considered essential. It's a tricky thing. I know him well. I'm friendly with him. I've reached out to him. He said he can't, he has things that he will be in trouble if people don't pay rent. So I'm doing my best.
right. Well, make sure everyone, the more information we can transfer to each other. There's a lot of programs, and everyone's in the same boat. And in theory, Maria, you're going to be there in July, and if you hate the guy's guts because he didn't help you out, you won't forget. I've been telling. I got a question from a friend who asked me what's going to hopefully change from this. I said to them, hopefully people will have a deeper need for relationships, right?
Absolutely.
And that's personal, and I tell my kids, what's your personal brand? But in the business world, what's your brand personally and as a business? I think brands are very important in this time. Like, we're not a direct to consumer product, but I will tell you, we turned on the notch a little bit, just being, I guess, more visible with my hands, right, Lori, and my face.
Right.
And also on LinkedIn, we got more visible just because we had the team to do it. And we've gotten, more leads coming in. In our industry, people are hopeful for an opening up for later on in the year. So architects are still working, designers still working, making plans. We're bidding contracts still for projects. So brand is important. That's a long story. So
I think the most
important personal business.
I think the most important thing for brands right now, if using social media, is that you have to be empathetic. You have to be sensitive to what people are going through, because everybody's at a different place in this whole thing. The ripple effect, how it's unfolding and how it's like, you mentioned, Maria, it's not just your business and then the landlord, and then it goes on and on and on. So what I found is I right away, within a week, I got a message. Probably everybody did. We're talking about it on social media, that I got a message from a major brand saying, oh, whatever broadcasting information they're trying to get out, which is so wrong, but we won't get into that. But the key was the wording in the subject was, we're thinking about you, or something, or we care about you, something to that effect. And I thought, wow, that is fantastic. So I clicked on it. And it was just selling their product.
Yeah.
It was nothing about caring about me.
That's bull.
Major fail. I disconnected from them. I didn't want to subscribe to their email anymore. I sent them a message that said, I've tweeted about this. I didn't call your name out, but let me tell you, this is wrong. And I just thought you might want to know, when you get a bunch of unsubscribers, this is the reason, because you're totally insensitive to what's going on here.
Exactly.
And it could have been done the same marketing piece. Let's be honest, we need cash, right? So let's not say we don't want the money to pay for our employees. That same marketing piece where we care about you, the real, giving more than you're getting in the email. You get a customer if they get a customer for 22 years. So they're short term, not long term. I mean, you have to ask for the money, ask for the cash.
Right.
Think about the customer being there for 20 years and being a real brand to them, not just a place to take money, because those stories are going to add up. And they're going to add up. I mean, this scenario, we're being recorded here, and then we're all being recorded in our social media worlds. And this is not the Spanish flu. We're going to have history books. People can go look up a history of a brand from 2020, right? And 10 years ago, how do they behave?
Exactly.
And then if you survive 10 years, the guys that buy your business or the kids that run your business, they go, how did Armen and his brother handle this downturn, this weirdness? It's recorded, You know, they have the they have the morals of the company kind of forever in amber.
The last thing you want to be is opportunistic.
Right.
The last thing you want to be is alarmist and opportunistic. You want to be empathetic and you want to help.
Right.
You want to do everything you can to help.
Let's not
Everybody.
make the word opportunistic dirty, though. We want to make opportunities for your brand that are not all about taking.
Right. And that's
So,
authentic.
yeah. I guess I have to look up the word better, but whatever you give, you don't want to take. You don't want to take more than you should, and you should give something back. Whether it's, in our case, I don't sell rice and beans. I don't sell coffee. So I just realized all I can give people is what's between my ears. It's not very much, but just talking to our customers and telling what I think. And in our case, a lot of designers are self-employed, so they're hearing somebody going through the process of, I'm a design. Well, think about it. A designer, you know, they're not important, but are they? They're important. So, you know, it's a weird place to be today.
It is weird.
I think that, you know, you do, of course, have to focus on what can you give during this very, you know, everyone is suffering. I think it's important for business owners to get on brands to be honest about what they're going through. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I actually appreciated what I saw, Armen, from you on Instagram about how you're feeling, just your feelings. And I think that's really critical. I think people want to see that. So I think people want you to be human and want you to be, to tell them, you know, because basically we are all going through, like, you know, Lori has said, and we've all said, a very, very trying time. So I think being truthful about what, you know, you're feeling is important.
Can I add Lucille to that?
Huh?
Can I add to that, Lucille?
Yes, please.
Before this time and after this time, what you said has to be true, or else people will see through it. I'm hoping people will see through the fakeness after this as well. And I think a lot of people saw it before, you know, good, what? Yeah. Cause if we don't remember anything out of this, then let's go back to being bad people again and buying on price only. Maria, I'm assuming you're the cheapest person on the planet, right? Not your coffee, Claudia, nor my tile. You're selling a story, you're selling you're selling location, whatever it may be. So if all 5 of us only buy on price, then we are, you know, we're not giving story and brand and importance, then we're not eating our own medicine. So
can I chime in? So back to the branding and what you were talking about, and the emails. Yes, if I feel like if I get one more email that says we're here for you, and I click on it and they're just trying to sell me something, they're not here for me, I think I've stopped looking at those. What I've tried to do for my customer base, since I've really got nothing going on, I have put it out there that if someone needs something, if they need something from the grocery store, I will pick it up for you, or the pharmacy, and I will bring it to you. I haven't had anyone call me out on that, but you know, I'm willing to do it. The other thing that I've been that I struggle with is, I know that what I carry here is not essential. I carry clothing and gifts and jewelry and things of that nature, which, you know, I understand that people don't need. Their minds are focused elsewhere. So I mean, I am, you know, suggesting I have some products for Easter, and I've made up some little Easter like goodie type bags, because some people do want to shop. But I've struggled with sharing my story of how, you know, like, I'm really in trouble and I really need the community's support. If they're going to consider shopping, you know, rather than shop online from a big company, how about shopping from a small company? Like, I'm here, I support you, I hire the teenagers, I give back to, when you want a donation, I'm here for that. I'm here to even talk. You know, like, sometimes I feel like I'm a therapist at times, that people are having a hard day. They can come in and they can chat and they can, you know, and I'm happy to do that. I love to talk to my people. And I've even put that out there. If you just want to call and talk, you're feeling isolated, call me.
You do it like that?
That is perfect, right?
I did. I've done video.
On Instagram or on wherever you're Facebook, wherever you're famous?
I have, yeah.
What, every day? Every week?
Not every day, no.
I think people need to be reminded. You remind me, I worked as a bartender for a while.
What?
Yeah, I know. I've done a lot of things. I'm older than I look.
Okay.
The key is that people talk to bartenders. They come in, they sit down, their problems, they're alone, they don't have anybody to go to dinner with. And I think if you keep reminding, here's the other thing is your people need to talk about your people. I mean, this is why Lucille and I do what we do. We create a community around your brand so that your brand, I mean, I full disclosure, I don't think everybody knows, I work for Arto Brick. I do their social media managing. And the thing is that we have created a community where your community backs you. As an example, when someone comes in and haters are going to hate, and as you get bigger and bigger, they start writing stuff that's just awful. And I don't have to come to bat for Arto for that. It's our community who says, wait a minute, these guys work very hard. You're bashing them for their pricing of their hand-painted tile. They hire people full-time. They give them benefits. They do that. I didn't have to say a thing. Yeah. That's why you get your community involved. And I'm sure if you keep reminding them, they're going to be there. I would be there. If I was in Massachusetts, I would come and talk to you.
I talk to her a lot. Yeah, and I mean, that's it right there, Lori. You know, absolutely. And Maria, you are good about getting on video on the social media platforms, and you are talking, and people are going to remember this. So it is a good thing. So let's talk about how you've adapted, because that's one of the questions we have done here.
Everybody's talked a little bit about adapting. If there's something you want to add.
Yeah, if you want to add, yeah. So I just wanted to hear from Claudia, because I think I felt bad because I kind of cut you off. But and I also want to call out to Sue Falcone, who's watching us. She's the owner of a remarkable. It's called Remarkable Speakers Bureau, and I know we have AJ on. They've made comments, so I just want to call them out. Go ahead.
Hey Sue. Hey, who else?
AJ.
AJ. Yeah. So
okay, so how I adapted, like I said, I immediately did a plea on Facebook, and I got more active on LinkedIn as well. And I've never been particularly active on LinkedIn, just saying this is really going to be a very difficult time for all small businesses. We all could use your help. And by the way, now I'm selling online direct from my website, because I did all of my direct to consumer via Amazon until like a few weeks ago, frankly. And the problem is Amazon takes such a huge amount of sales that you basically end up netting less than your wholesale price. And you also don't get any information on your customers. You have no data. You have no way to engage your customers. So I wanted to change that. So we immediately started firing up. We created bundles because people were going to be home. So we now have 3 bag bundles, 6 bag bundles, 5 pound bags, 5 pound bag bundles. So we're selling coffee more in the way now. I know that you're going to be consuming it at home because you're not going out to the coffee shop. So you get to have more, and I'm discounting it, and And then, like I said, the other thing I did is if you're local, I hand deliver myself to you in a cute bag with paw print tissue paper, with stickers and information about my give back. And recently I created, with my husband's help, because he's an engineer and he knows how to do stuff, unlike me, we created masks. So, and we stamp them with Hugo's face. And then we deliver people masks. So really, it's all about the consumer, because wholesale's gone. Wholesale is gone, and it's gone for the foreseeable future. And I think it'll start trickling back, hopefully in the summer. But we're not going to see recovery in Park City, I don't think, in 2020, back to the way it was the rest of the year. I think it's going to be slow for people to even when we're let out again. I think people are going to be I don't know how chomping at the bit people are going to be to get on an airplane, to stay in a hotel, to be in places with lots of people.
Yeah.
And this is a resort community, and resort-based businesses are my bread and butter. So I have to consider the pivot is a long-term pivot.
Yes.
Okay. You know, it's a challenge, and then, you know, you have to ask for the money. You have to search those sources, and you have to apply and apply and apply. I have 11 applications pending right now, 9 of them for PPP at various institutions, because it's been so difficult. And they're all 2 of the institutions I have a relationship with. 1 I don't really have a relationship with, and I'm still trying to get money out of them.
So Claudia, I'm curious. So where else are you applying? Where else are you looking for help?
Okay, so the first thing I did when I saw the writing on the wall, I'm not really paranoid like Armen, but I kind of got a wave of it in mid-March. And I'm like, this is not going to be good. And so I immediately called my lenders. I have 2 loans, and I said, can you defer them for the next 3 to 4 months? And they all agreed to defer. So yay, that was great. Then I got on with an EIDL loan, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, via the SBA. That's a direct application to the SBA. I did that on March 18th. Then the CARES Act passed. Now I already have an application pending with the SBA, but the CARES Act passed, and that had a $10,000 potential grant opportunity that's connected to an EIDL loan. So I'm like, oh, what do? I've already applied. Well, now the streamlined application, and I filled that in on that Monday morning after the CARES Act passed. In Utah, we have an entity called the Governor's Office of Economic Development. They have a pot of money that it's called a bridge loan. I applied for that. I didn't get it. That's sad, but I didn't. But they're doing another round on Monday, which I'm going to apply for as well. So really, I think and then the other thing which I thought was awesome, and I don't know that everybody knows about, is part of the CARES Act. If you had a loan that was funded by the SBA, and I didn't realize that those were the source of the funds of one of my loans. It was the Utah Microloan Fund. I have a loan with them. That was one of the entities that deferred for me, which was great. But then what happened after the CARES Act passed, I got a notice that my loan is getting paid for 6 months by the SBA. My loan.
Wow, that's great.
So that's like a grant of $9,000. 6 months of money I don't have to spend, which is fantastic. And you either have it or you don't. But if you do have one, that's an awesome benefit that came out of the CARES Act. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that came out of the CARES Act, which we're going to see later, has paid our taxes and things like that. And this is awesome too, which I don't know if everybody knows about, but you can take money, even though nobody really wants to ever do this, you can take money out of your 401k or your IRA without penalty and without paying, and you can pay it back or not.
That's great. Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the methods, the ways I've kept this business alive during my growth was to take money out of my 401k to fund the growth of my own business. So the idea of being able to do it without penalty is amazing.
Yeah.
That's good. That's very helpful information. You know, that's very helpful.
That's all I know of currently.
Yeah.
But I do know you guys
That's a lot.
I mean, I think we're all 10,000 small business grads.
No, Maria is not.
Okay.
No, and no, I'm not either.
Goldman Sachs announced $300 million pot of loans. There's no process in place yet. There's no application process. From what I read in the press release, it's not specific for SBA, small business 10,000 grads. It's just open. So that's another pot of money out there that's going to be coming down the pike.
And that is for people who are members of 10,000 small businesses.
Nope, I thought it would be, but it's not.
It's anybody.
No, also, I'm going to interject here because I love Sarah Blakely of Spanx.
Yeah.
That's right.
The red backpack. If you don't know her, follow her on Instagram. She talks about it all the time.
I wear her product.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down, so you can't tell.
So that window opened Monday?
I don't know when it opens, but it's $1,000 per female. Sorry, Armen, you're out of this. Female-owned business.
Ah.
It's open Monday, the application period, and it's a pre-application. You apply to get invited to apply.
Okay, very good.
And then it's a window of time. And I think the window is short. So
Okay.
it may end this week.
Okay.
Maria and any woman-owned business, red backpack, Google it. And I haven't been invited back, sadly, but I'll keep trying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw on a show, I think it was Good Morning America, that no, it was Cardi B is offering $1,000, like she's giving away $1,000 to people in need. I don't know the process, but I saw that.
Good on Cardi B.
Right. I think things are coming out too. It's rolling out. People are thinking like, how can I help? What can I do? I mean, so yeah.
Right.
Sue Falcone is saying, all of you are being open and honest, and there is hope.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry.
So
So,
adapting.
so
Do you
Maria,
have any other adapting things you're doing, Maria?
Am I adapting? Well, what I've had to do, I've had to put all of the orders that were ready to come in for spring, for Mother's Day, for Easter, for grad gifts. Everything is on hold until to be determined. A small business like mine, so most of the businesses I deal with very small companies. I deal with a lot of women-owned companies, fair trade companies, made in the USA companies. I like to support local businesses when I can. They all want prepayment, which makes it really, really tricky. So sometimes I do, I'm going to be honest, like right now I'm kind of in trouble with, like, I bought stuff thinking that I was going to sell it, and my credit cards are they're higher than they should be, and the interest rate on credit cards is crazy. And I'm working on maybe trying to get a loan to help, maybe switch that up, switch the where my debt is. And I wasn't anticipating this. So so my pivot, what am I doing? Other than I've put orders on hold. My money is here in the store. I've done some gifts, like putting together like little gift combinations, making them look pretty, posting them on social media and offering a discount for a combination pack.
Love that idea.
So that's sort of the direction I'm going right now, is like bundling things together and offering a discount and having it sort of ready to go. And it's quarantined, so that and when I make sure that I either wear gloves, wash my hands, put a face mask on when I put things together. So
you should show them how.
Except for that.
With everything on, this is how I'm doing it. I'm making sure it's told. That way they're visually seeing that you're doing it germ-free. That I think would help, because people say that I did it this way, but now you're showing them.
Right.
And then I would throw a roll of toilet paper in there, like, because I'm low on TP. So.
oh my God.
If I can get some, and now I think they're rationing, like you can't. They're selling single rolls one at a time. I do have some underlying health issues, so I've been like kind of trying to stay away from the stores as well. So I'm being really cautious as far as going out.
Maria, you might have to send your helpers out to supply you.
What helpers?
Well,
I have no helpers right now.
Your friends. You'll have to call on your friends to go get toilet.
So, Armen, how are you adapting?
I'm wearing my
Well, I answered the question, how are you adapting? And then I want to know what do you foresee? The second question, you can be the first one to answer, is how do you foresee the future beyond this pandemic?
How are we adapting? So an example in the sales channel for us is when we had a request from Instagram or from info at Arto, we would give the name of the local dealer and then send them off to that location. And then in theory, that location, that dealer would respond. Sorry, fire station. I think as of this week, we're really big. You experienced this too for us, Lori, where the store didn't respond. So, when your mom or whoever made you brownies and you lick the container of the brownie mix. Yes, no, nods, yes.
Yeah.
We're treating every sale like the brownie mix in the container to get every, telling instead of just sending them to a store, is marrying them in an email, connecting them together. So that's a simple thing that we should have done before. How many jobs have we lost because they got a dead end at the other location? But now, since every lead that we produce is potentially in order this month or next month or in 2 years, we're making sure we connect. So over communicating is a thing they've been trying to do. I think Lori, for example, on this, and Lucille, you've been not on me, but I think you asked me like this a couple months ago to do this. I'm doing this because this is important. People want to connect with other companies, other stories. So this is part of what we're doing differently. If anybody with one follower says, will you do a podcast? I will go and do that podcast, only because that one follower can change my weather. So anything for granted, nothing for granted. That's what we're doing now. Everything's important. Tired of reading emails about how people love me without trying to sell me something. I agree with the team on that one. The future, I'm hoping that people appreciate brands. Talk about that. The second part I hope people do is, actually, this is the part I don't know. I don't know this part, is how much direct-to-consumer will be happening in the future. How much will the butterfly, right?
Butterfly tree.
The butterfly tree or Hugo's Coffee needs to rely on direct-to-consumer location sales versus it being through channels. Your storefront might cost you so much money, but if you can develop a online store in a smaller footprint, you might actually have less overhead and sell the same amount of money and be happy. Same with Hugo Coffee. You might find out that having your own little backyard, like the brew pub, opening the warehouse up there and having a little stand for coffee, for shot of espresso, but then you're really about direct to consumer. And when you're in Park City County, I know it's not the name of the county, but drive by Hugo's to get yourself a shot of espresso for free when you buy at the warehouse, ask for, And then in my case, I work through dealers. So making sure the dealers that survive this issue are partners, not just users. So did I answer the question? I forget.
You're making the point that we're all in this together. I think we've mentioned that through all these stories, is if we can keep going back to, we are all in this together. Right. How can we mutually benefit? I mean, I think that's what Arto has done. We have been very collaborative in how we're working going forward. And that collaboration mentality was planted, watered, growing before this happened. So it's just fostering more of that. So I think if you can think about how can my business work with this business? How can we both grow together, get out of this together? That's a good way of thinking about it.
But all of us here are small, and one job, two jobs make a big difference in our personal lives. So really, the old-fashioned word of mouth on steroids would either social media or, just the old-fashioned business. Old-fashioned business.
Mm-hmm. So we got a question from Christy Johnson, and she said that she has been on each of your websites, and she would like you to tell people how they can support you as a business. It is a great question. So
send money.
Why don't we take turns and answer that question? So I'm going to read it. So how can we best support your business and or you personally? So she'd like each of you to comment on that.
I'm going to say check, Christy.
You just said how much. I'll take. I have a lot of people at home in here, so I'll take $1,000 per person. Sorry, Christy.
I want people to just hang in there, you know, and think about their marketing and book videos.
Coffee.
Book videos for when this is over. We started a video. I hired partnered with a videographer, and we were all ready to start filming videos. And we had 10, you know, people who wanted videos to start, and none of that. So I just want people to think about things, think about what they might need when they get back and up and running. So Maria, do you want to go next? How can people support you in your business, and how can people support you personally?
Okay, so I think one of the things that people could do to support me, if you need a gift, consider, you know, shopping from the Butterfly Tree Boutique. If you don't need a gift, then that's fine too. But you know, word of mouth, tell people about us, share our posts, like our page, write a review. If you've had a good experience here at the Butterfly Tree, write a review. And when you do, if and when you need a new top, a cute new top, some new earrings, you want to send someone a little gift of joy and happiness, give us a call, reach out. We're happy to help.
Great.
I think that goes for everybody, every small business, every small town in all of the US, all over the world, shop local.
Spread the Hugo love.
Yeah, and not just tell your friend, right? Not just tell your friend, oh my gosh, I got these great earrings. Yeah. Go online, give them a review. It doesn't take much time, and it helps that business so much. Reviews.
Yes, reviews, tags, pictures with tags. Anything you can do to spread the word is so helpful. So helpful, particularly when we're in a situation where whether we survive or not depends on how successful this pivot is.
True. Right. We're in this together.
Yeah. Armen, did you answer? Oh yeah, you said send money.
Well, I'll be send money. I'll give you a couple of actual things that we could do today, and that is if you have the ability to do so, and just reach out to any, like I'm going to say it more clearly, I think, than the rest of us. Find the ones around you that are running businesses in your local backyard. If they have a tip jar online, send them a tip. If they sell bread, buy their bread. If they have a gift card, and even if you don't ever if they go away, don't expect to get it back. If you can. If you can't, I understand. If you cannot give money as a tip jar or buy something, change your personal buying habits. And an example, I'm not against the Amazon. They have a place in my life for buying stuff from Procter & Gamble, and those things that have no, they cost a penny to make. But anything that might be able to be purchased from a smaller company, it could be a company making $100 million a year. But if you can send your money to any company other than Amazon to help those smaller companies, and again, it could be a company making $500 million a year. That's small compared to Amazon, right? So having that new habit of buying from smaller companies, whether it's Patagonia versus being a guy from China on Amazon with their Chinese stuff, So don't always think super small, because sometimes we don't make jackets, right? But there's plenty of companies that are real big, and you could avoid giving that to the Amazon and go direct to those companies. And that's my 2 cents. Is I have to do it myself to change my buying habits. When things are commodity, there's it's all pennies. But anything of value like jewelry, or coffee, buy it from or tile. Don't buy it from people that are all about pennies. Buy it from people that have a story and back up the product.
Right.
That's the new habit I hope we all get. Is we should have had it before, and hopefully we have it after.
I also think that improves the quality of your life, because you feel connected to these companies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you have a social media presence and your people are commenting on your posts and when stuff happens and someone writes something bad and they come to your aid, this is a connect. You're part of a family with that business. And I think when you feel like that and all the things in your house are part of other businesses, it just feels better than it does being connected to a big box brand that they don't care.
And I'll add one more side effect that's a funny side effect. We may end up buying less stuff because we're buying more from higher priced brands, but you might buy less crap. You know, I made a joke for my mother-in-law. I think she sent over to China probably $100,000 a year in junk from the Pick and Save, whatever it's called now. So buying things of quality make a difference too. You'll have less of it and you'll have less junk, hopefully too.
That's an excellent point.
Deal with Small Business Saturday again. I want every day to be Small Business Day, 365 days a year.
And to be fair, small business could be a company making $500 million. You know, in today's world, that's itty bitty, right? So it's not only just us on the screenshot, but it's companies that are the beer supplier for Park City. They have 200 employees. That's a small business in today's world. You know, if they have, you know, if they're Anheuser-Busch and they have 1 billion people, that's a different story. But the local companies that are big, they're little, competing with the big boys, you know?
I hope one day to be that small.
It happens by accident after, you know, your hockey stick here, you said, you know, it could have been next week.
I was ramped, man. I was ready to go.
Yeah, you still are.
I had the infrastructure in place. I'm ready to
You can make more margin selling it to consumers than wholesale.
That's right.
Yeah.
Buying for the customer for the next 20 years is cheaper than buying a store. We'll change it every year, a vendor.
How do you sell coffee in Mormon country? That's my question.
Well, I'm in a little enclave called Park City, which has world-class ski resorts, and we get thousands and thousands and thousands of visitors. So we cater to a different clientele up here. Also,
it's all different there now.
It's all different than Salt Lake County. I mean, I don't sell a ton in southern Utah, and I don't sell a ton in certain areas, but I do sell a ton in the Salt Lake Valley and in we call it the Wasatch Front and the Wasatch Back.
Okay, got it. I was curious. So the question comes in that Christy doesn't drink coffee, but because we had this conversation, she started thinking, wait a minute, my husband drinks coffee. So how does she get your coffee?
www.hugo.coffee.
I can help you, Christy. I have the fast track to it.
And that's good. You should share your websites so now we know how to get our coffee. And Maria, you want to share a website with us?
Sure. Well, my website that's one of the pivots that I'm making now, is working on the website. I recognize it is not that great, but it's there's you can still order stuff and see some pictures, and it only has a fraction of what we carry in the store. We have thousands of items, and it's quite a process to get it all in. But it's butterflytreeboutique.com. And I just want to go back to like 2 things that Armen said. One is, I'm not a pushy salesperson here. If you don't need something, if it's not going to serve you, I'm all for it. Don't get it. Get what you love. Get what brings you joy. And, I'm all about that. And, if you're giving a gift, I can help you find something that hopefully that will really make the gift recipient put a smile on their face, and we gift wrap it for free. And so anyway, don't buy what you don't need, buy what you love.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
That's great.
My turn.
Well, we're coming up on
42 seconds, it says.
Okay, Armen, do we have a minute?
DM us on Instagram or info@Arto, and Lori will send you a big book for free. And if I have any t-shirts, a t-shirt as well. I don't want anything from you. I'm going to send you out some love.
Okay, so let me explain what a big book is real quick. It's an inspirational book. Too bad I don't have it right here, but it's got a bunch of beautiful designs that people have done with the tile. So
I'm hoping you buy something in 6 months. So I'm hopeful.
There you go.
That's awesome. Follow the Hugo Coffee at the Hugo Coffee on Instagram and Facebook.
very good.
And DM me. I love to chat with customers.
I don't want to chat with you on DM. I might be very loud.
DM everybody.
Yeah, we have everyone here. Yeah, and Maria, you've got a great presence on Facebook and Instagram, and yeah, DM us all.
It's right.
So we're ahead. We're at 1 o'clock. Lori, do you wanna? I can't tell you how much I appreciate that each of you have taken the time to be with us today.
Yeah, thank you for
It's
your time
huge value.
and your wisdom and your input. I think it's very, very helpful to others. So people might ask questions, and they can ask them on YouTube and they can ask them on Facebook. So keep an eye out on there. They might ask you direct questions. So go ahead and answer them in the comments. So thank you all for coming. This is The Squeeze with Lori and Lucille. We just ask you to vote, vote, vote. We all feel the squeeze. I don't think there's anybody who's not feeling the squeeze.
But with this thing too, this thing over here.
God, I don't even know what that is.
Wallet.
That is so true. Vote with your wallet.
There you go. Good point.
Small business. Yeah, and and we hope that anybody who's seen this, will subscribe to Lori and my YouTube page called Squeeze with Lucille and Lori.
Thank you.
With Lori and Lucille, actually. Lori and Lucille.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.